Hello, welcome to Through Lucy's Lens, weekly-ish videos where I go somewhere interesting and hopefully you will find it interesting too. I am a social historian and your serially nosy friend. Spring has sprung here in the United Kingdom finally, and it is going to be so much easier for me to get out and about again with you, and I'm so happy about that. So I am here at the beautiful Avoncroft Museum. It's one of the first living history museums ever in the United Kingdom, but it's so little known compared to some of the others. So today I'm here to show you a Nailers Cottage. There's been lots of comments recently, can you find a Nailers Cottage? And I kept thinking, I know where one is. It's at Avoncroft, but we just need it to open. So here we are. I'm going to show you a Nailers Cottage today, and I'm also going to show you a few bonus things that I found along the way, including a very cool bathroom facility. So shall we go? Shall we start off 2025 finally with a new video? Come on, let's go. I'm so excited. Today, I really am delighted to share with you the Nailers Cottage at Avoncroft Museum of Historic Buildings. Some of you have been asking in the comments for a while now to show you a Nailers Cottage, as I believe many of you have come across nail maker as an occupation during your own family research. The Nailers Cottage at Avoncroft was originally located at 79 Old Birmingham Road in Licky End, Bromsgrove, and it was built between 1841 and 1851. This period marked the expansion of the nail making industry in the region. Bromsgrove was a perfect location for the trade, being close to sources of raw iron and also the River Severn for transportation. The cottage was situated in an area known as Staple Hill, which was densely populated by nail makers. The 1840 tithe map indicates that the plot of land was owned by a James Chapman, also a nail maker. When it was built, the cottage was a simple one-up, one-down structure with an attached workshop. This was characteristic of nail makers' houses, where production was integrated into domestic life, with the nail making taking part in the home or nearby in a shared nail making shed. This cottage remained largely unaltered over the decades, lacking modern luxuries such as a bathroom and retaining its original steep dogleg staircase, which is accessed directly from the living area. Census records provide a really vivid picture of the cottage's inhabitants. In 1851, William and Mary Wotton, who were both nailers, lived here. By 1861, Thomas Crump had moved in. He was another nailer and lived in the cottage with his wife Sarah, who was a seamstress. From 1871 onwards, the Webb family lived here, with Edward Webb, a nailer, living there with his wife and children. As the family grew, the original workshop was converted into a living space, and a larger workshop was constructed externally. I'll show you an example of a workshop later in the video. By the early 20th century, the nail making trade had really started to decline, and the people who lived in this cottage had to transition into other local occupations like brickmaking. The cottage today is set in the 1930s, when Alfred Homer lived here with his family. The decline of the nail making industry led to significant economic hardship for families like the Homers. Despite these challenges, the cottage remained in the Homer family until 2008. The museum has interpreted the cottage as it appeared in the 1930s, reflecting the domestic setup of a nail-making family after the industry's decline and they had to find work elsewhere. This period setting allows visitors to understand the severe poverty that many such families endured, and also highlights the transition from the cottage as a nail-making workshop into a domestic dwelling. Although through our modern eyes the cottage looks cosy and inviting, when you look closely you can see the bare floorboards and lack of creature comforts. The family had scant possessions compared to our lives today, and I think this is reflected most in the very simple kitchen with just a sink and a small gas oven.
As if it had been bought in 1961.
That was still the same, was it?
Setting
Oh
and all
right,
that.
yeah.
And old fashioned, very old fashioned.
Yeah.
And it had got like wallpaper with copper jugs on.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
Markings as well, where they've taken this down, dismantled it, and never built that back.
Oh, sorry. Nice to meet you.
Sometimes on a Saturday night.
1978. They're not easy to come by, are they?
Well, I was ever so fortunate because I bought it, and he says, "Would you want all these as well?" And I thought, "Well, yes, please." And
During the 1930s, the cottage was a family home. And when the wife of Mr. Homer became disabled, an extension was added to the back of the cottage to act as an accessible bedroom for Amy Homer, his wife. I really love how the museum have kept this piece of humanity within the building, because I really love to see how homes grow and evolve with their string of occupants.
needle.
Got to play quietly.
Yes, and medium and loud, and also the needles had to be changed every couple of cycles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because otherwise they wear down, and then they, you haven't got your, your point. Because I've had to learn all this myself. And I must have 100. But I did paint mine to go in my own house, but in fairness, I didn't use a paint that you would.
Avoncroft rescued the cottage as it was under threat from being demolished. Because it had changed so little, it would prove to be a really important example of this type of dwelling for future generations. The museum brought the cottage from its original location here, brick by brick. Outside the cottage is a beautiful but functional garden where the occupants could grow their own vegetables. To the side of the house is an outside toilet. Now, I didn't film the toilet because for some reason there was a massive Harry Potter plushie sat on the toilet. I expect that's there to entertain younger visitors, which is lovely, but it kind of broke the spell for me. There was never an indoor bathroom facility in this cottage, with the occupants still using the outside toilet into the 2000s. They did, however, build a cover from the front door to the toilet to stop them getting wet in the rain.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I used to do the where you fold it, where you take a string and you fold it left, right. No lessons, and you end up with like a 22 version. It's the same sort of thing where you've got to do the
I encourage you to visit the Nailers Cottage yourself if you can, to really soak in the dimensions and the immaculate reconstruction work that's been taken place by the volunteers here at the museum. Nearby to the cottage is a nail maker's workshop. For those who didn't have a workshop in their home or who outgrew that workshop, they would rent a space in a communal workshop like this. Nailers often worked 12 to 14-hour days in a workshop. It was hot, dirty work with incredibly low wages. Often nail makers were at the mercy of middlemen only willing to pay a pittance for the nails to be sold on at a large profit. We hear this story over and over again on this channel, don't we? And if you haven't seen it yet, I visited a similar industry last week with the chain makers of the Black Country, so do check that out if you haven't seen it yet.
7,000 people were employed, almost half of the town's population. The nail industry flourished in Bromsgrove due to its proximity to raw materials such as iron and coal, as well as being near to the River Severn, which provided transport links to the sea.
Before I left the museum, I really wanted to show you this gem. I must admit, I've walked past it so many times over the year because it's either locked, and I presumed it was some sort of garden outhouse. But no, it's a public toilet, a very posh Georgian public toilet. This communal bathroom was originally in a garden of Townsend House in Leinster. There are 3 toilet seats inside for simultaneous use. We don't know if this was to encourage a social gathering or simply a matter of physics, so the holes would fill evenly, leading to less flooding. This space was obviously very special, particularly because it had glass windows. Built in the 18th century, glass windows were still a precious resource. In 1747, properties with 10 to 14 windows paid a total tax of 4 shillings, and property with over 20 windows paid 8 shillings in tax. The window tax, as it became to be known, was raised 6 times between 1847 and 1808, and this is why you sometimes see bricked up windows on Georgian buildings. People just simply couldn't afford to have that many windows. It seems, though, that this little privy would have avoided the tax, and I did wonder about some of the conversations that might have taken place in here. This beautiful little building was moved here in 1984 and lives on today, amusing children and adults alike when they step inside. It's very comfortable. A Georgian wee would not have been a bad thing at all in this privy. Thank you, as always, for coming with me today. It is so appreciated. If you could like this video and subscribing is free. It really does help me with the channel. I've got so many plans this year, so many things that this time last year I would not have even considered coming to this channel in 2025. So join me, join the amazing people in the comments who are all history lovers. I can't wait to see you there. Until next time, where are we going? At this point, I'm not even sure. But until then, I'll see you later. Little bit of hair in my mouth. See, I'm just a real person. No airs and graces here. See you soon. Bye.